Hello 802 Garage viewers, I'm just out here today messing around with a few things, and I'll start out with something a little bit fun and silly that I'm doing just for the heck of it. So got my new air filter for the Eclipse on the old EJ18 here that you would have seen in my Spirited Drive video recently. I am going to just unplug the MAF so that it doesn't get confused. I believe that means it'll run off just the O2 sensor reading, but it will be before it's warmed up anyway, so it doesn't make a huge difference. I just want to see what it sounds like. Sometimes I think it's fun just to do silly things to get yourself motivated for the day, so that's basically what this is. Check engine light is on, of course. I really couldn't hear anything from inside the car, but definitely not as mean as some engines I've heard with the filter, but this one's pretty big for an engine this size, so I think it's probably breathing pretty freely. I'll get inside real quick and take it up to some revs. Well, now I know rev limit's right at 4K if you don't have the MAF plugged in. So anyway, just did that for fun. I want to do a cold air intake on this car, like a filter like this, but I want to install it in the fender, right where the intake panel is, if I was gonna do one. But I probably won't bother, just because this breathes plenty for this car. So yeah, I'm gonna get to working on the GSX now. Just thought that would be funny. I love the mechanical sound of this engine. Alright, back to work. First things first, I wanted to make sure my new air filter worked. Looks pretty good in the sun, actually. And it is a 3-inch inlet filter, or outlet, I guess, technically. And I believe that means that somebody already did a conversion to the 3-inch MAF adapter on this, because I've seen that for sale online. I don't think the 97 came with that. I think it was like a 2.5 inch or 2.25, who knows. But so that's pretty cool, it does fit. I can't look at exactly where it's going to go in here just because I got some stuff in the way, but basically it'll sit right there. So I think it'll clear everything, it'll look pretty good. As somebody was telling me in the comments, I may make an aluminum heat shield at some point, but that's way down the road, so I'm not going to worry about it right this second, obviously. Today the goal is basically to pull off this stuff that's in the way and pull out the radiator and maybe start the repair on it, just so that I can fix any rust on like the main core support before I ever put that subframe back on. It may involve some welding, we'll see. You can see too, my mom was being nice and throwing down some mats to kill plants for my work area, or maybe she was just doing it for her hubcap cleaning, but either way, she does little thoughtful stuff like that a lot, so that's nice. I'm hoping this isn't sinking too far into the ground with the rains, and that the jack stands aren't absolutely destroying my rocker panels under there. I have no idea, but you know, I think, as I said in another video, if it's too weak to support the jack stands right now, then it's already too rusty to be saved anyway, and it needs to be repaired, so I will get over it. Another thing too worth mentioning, you can see this is some of the red silicone hose I was talking about, and it actually looks kind of gnarly. I mean, probably still very serviceable, but I won't be sad to replace that. And this carpeting has actually pretty much dried out. I think the car's nice and dry now that it's sat in the sun enough, and I sucked up most of it. So even though I will pull everything out eventually and see if the floor is rusty, really not a priority for right now. I will do a more thorough interior cleaning, but this stuff is looking pretty good still, so I'm not upset about it. There is still a little bit of mold back there, but I will be detailing the interior at some point. So overall, pretty good for now. Alright, 802 viewers, I got super hungry, so I went in to take care of that and made some ham, egg, and cheese, whatever on whatever with cheddar and Swiss. Whoop, then I'll go back out and work. Alright, I won't lie, I got distracted. Watched a 25-minute Boosted Boy video. Replied to more comments. You know, it's kind of funny because I comment a lot on other channels, and I know a lot of you found me that way. And some people were like complaining, oh, you comment too much. And it's like, if my channel was big and I had like 50K subs, you'd be like, OMG, it's 802 Garage. But nah, I comment too much. Anyway, I'm just randomly bitching. You know, it's kind of cool. I was looking up these Northstar engines, and they sort of get a bad rap, I guess, because they had like a poor head stud design. But, Jesus, this hood doesn't come up apparently. Oh, it's all crooked. What the hell happened here? Oh, shit. Well, I was going to show you it. But they're like all aluminum V8s with lots of tech. Cadillac was trying to do cool things. Let me see if I can get this thing open. Well, got it open. I was going to charge the battery, but it's not even connecting. Anyway, so this is actually a kind of cool engine. It's a 4.6 liter V8. I think this is the L37. Has the right VIN code for that, which is 300 horsepower, 295 foot-pounds of torque. So that's pretty good for a 97. And it's actually a pretty advanced engine. And just so you know, this was a cut-in because I originally said the horsepower and torque figures wrong, and I don't like putting misinformation out there. But yeah, kind of a cool engine. People apparently swap them into the back of Fieros. I did for a brief second think about trying to put this into the MR2. But looking at how wide this damn thing is, I don't think there's any way. I mean, it would be wedged right in there. And, you know, I'm just way more into Japanese engines anyway, so I do need to get this thing running so that we can sell it and move it. And I'm getting kind of distracted, and I might do that today. But I'm going to go work on the Eclipse release a little bit and see what tickles my fancy. Take the battery out of this, charge it. Yeah, so to the Eclipse. Back to the Eclipse. Just do it. Bad Aaron. Alright, I failed my mission. My brother came by right as I was walking over to the Eclipse. Talked to him for a little bit, and then got distracted by this thing again. I did manage to get the hood latch all working. Was just pulling the air filter just to see how it is. Definitely been some rodent activity. You can see the air filter's kind of clogged up. This air filter box honestly doesn't make any friggin' sense to me. Goes right there. It almost looks like the intake air must be designed to cool what looks like a computer, which is all well and good, but it's really restrictive. Also looks like a rodent or something chewed through the side of the air box there, so it's getting air from right here instead of wherever it's actually supposed to, which this whole big thing is all loose. I don't know, man. Look at that. It's this huge box. I guess that must cool the ECU. This almost looks like it unclips. And then I could probably pull it off. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Weird design. I mean, not really weird, but just not what I'm used to, you know? I suppose I should take this apart to make sure there's no rodent stuff in it. Wasting time. Well, not really wasting time. This thing does need to get sold. I'll try not to give you too many boring updates on this thing. Yep, so definitely a computer of some kind. Air gets drawn in right there, cools those fins. Whole thing just sits right in here. Did get curious, so I pulled the box apart. Big old computer in here. Delco Electronics. For anybody wondering, this is a Cadillac DeVille. Yeah, my mom drove it for a little bit when she just needed a car. Somebody was gonna buy it, but we didn't have it running, so oh well. Now here's something really spooky. I thought I heard liquid, but check this out. You hear that? Apparently this ECU is liquid cooled, so that's cool. It's also a pain in the ass to get back in there. Everything's cleaned out. They had stashed everything inside of here, so there was tons of stuff to blow out. Alright, I've been messing with the Cadillac for a while. It was completely out of coolant, I think, so that may have been part of the issue. It may have been in limp mode. Figured out there's a way to reset the key by like turning it on for 10 minutes at a time, 3 times. Bunch of crap. Battery's still charging. Haven't done anything on the Eclipse, and I'm pissed about it, but I am going to do some stuff on it no matter what before the sun really goes down. I got a couple hours left. Alright, well, I'm actually getting started on the Eclipse just like way later than I should be, but it's kind of whatever, you know, so tis what it is. I guess I'm just like discouraged because I really don't want to keep finding more problems with it, and I know that lower core support is really rusty, but I just gotta get at it, and you know, the more I get done, the happier I'll be, so gonna get working on it. Yeah. This is kind of cool, by the way, something I figured out when I was helping my dad film, but I didn't know it could do it. Ooh, fancy. Like I said, I got this tripod for free, so I had no idea that it could do something so magical. Alright. Look how high that thing goes. Alright, to work. God, this air ratchet is worthless today. Worthless! Ah. What? Why so many washers? Okay, sure. Jesus. This one had the normal amount of washers. Okay, well, I like how easy that was. Now, I believe this bolt used to be a 10, but I'm either going to hammer a 9 onto it and try to get it, or just get out the vice grips. Somebody tack welded it into place. Tack welded the lower part of the bar and the nut. This is one of those times where I'd say it's better to use an impact ratchet than it is to use your hands, because the vibrations may loosen up some rust, but with a ratchet you may just pull hard enough to snap the bolt. And these front Mitsubishi bolts, any of the 10s and 12s, as anybody will tell you, love to snap. You can see that 3 out of the 4 radiator bracket bolts have been replaced. I'm sure it's because they love to snap. So I'll probably clean this up a bit and maybe paint it, at least the front side. Coat the inside with lube. Who knows? Either way. Anytime you can fill those cables with lube, specifically use something to release the rust first, like PB, WD works okay, and then fill it with like white lithium grease or something like a silicone lubricant, anything that kind of gets thicker when you put it in there. Big help on keeping those cables alive. Well, it may be that that's factory tacked in, which is kind of weird, but I guess this isn't really removable. So I'll just be repairing it in place. That's fine, makes me worry about it less, because this is all clearly one piece. Maybe once upon a time it was screwed together, but no longer. It shall stay. At least they did do some rust prevention on this front here. You know, not the most amazing work in the world. Something is better than nothing. Even painted pine needles into there when they did it. But, you know. Okay, so I'm going to move on to radiator, which means I need clippers to take out more zip ties. By the way, before I get to that, I'm sure some of you want to see this intercooler. It's a decently heavy, looks fairly well constructed. It is OBX Racing Sports, which, while they're considered, you know, kind of a lower end company, I'd say they're definitely a tier above eBay. And I mean, this thing is fairly hefty. It doesn't scream cheap. Flows real good. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, not the most beautiful welds in the world, but they look really sound. So that's really what counts. Not too corroded. And I looked it up online, and this was, or is still, a fairly expensive kit. I mean, I think their full intercooler kit with piping for this car is still like $560 or something like that. So I mean, I could always sell this secondhand and make back, you know, a quarter of what I paid for the car. So, and no, I didn't pay 500 times 4. I'm saying what I could get secondhand for it. Man, I hate these replacement bolts that are 13 millimeter. It's so annoying. I will say though, they're at least coated, if not stainless. A2-70. These may well be stainless, so there is that. Seems like they used washers when they had them and didn't when they didn't. See, this is an OEM bolt and it's all rusted in there because it's not stainless. So, at least the idiot mechanics help me out sometimes. And the rest of the time, WD-40's my friend. I like to just put the bolts back in place when I can because it's a lot easier than you know, taping them up to remember where they came from. Some of these wires too, I just don't understand why they routed them the way they did, because they go in such weird places. Like I would have either routed them behind the engine or on the other side of the engine bay. Like I'm pretty sure this one, I don't quite remember what it goes to. Yeah, this one is for the oil pressure gauge, I think, and the other one is for the O2 sensor. And I guess the O2 sensor would make sense because it just goes right here. There's still maybe a way you could have tucked it, like going around back, and then but I guess it's a little too short for that. And then the oil pressure sensor, like why would you route it all the way around the entire engine bay instead of just going right over there? I don't know. You know, maybe they have reasons that I don't know yet, but I'm still leaning towards idiot mechanics. Sorry if the audio and stuff isn't quite as good as in this one as usual. I haven't really been paying as much attention to where my voice is going. I'm a little bit off today. Okay, 2 more zip ties for the collection. I would like to see if I can put another fan on this. I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a second. I got the fan cable somewhere. I guess it's sitting somewhere. Here is the radiator. I can still hear some coolant in it. It's an okay shape. Looks like down this bottom right hand corner, maybe corroding a little bit too much, but it doesn't really look like it's leaking anywhere yet. And then there's that cracked filler neck. That's what I'm going to be addressing. Yeah. So as I said, it only has one fan because they took off the air conditioning fan. And I may see if I can add another fan to it and just find the fan relay and kind of wire in a second one with the same signal. Project for down the road, of course, but and because I have a bunch of extra Subaru fans that are a little skinnier than this one, so it'd be cool to have double fans that just come on whenever it's hot, since I don't have AC, just cool faster and also cool off the turbo with some more airflow. So I guess I'll shake this around a little bit and then see what I get. Alright, well this is just for fun. I'm going to empty whatever's in this radiator into this little clear bucket so we can see after we swish it around. And well, that was not nearly as exciting as I was hoping. Definitely not the best looking coolant ever, pretty sludgy. Let's flush it out a little bit more. God damn it, I ripped another glove. I'm obviously going to get whatever's in the old coolant too, but looks like I'm mostly getting a little bit of like corrosion out of there. Alright, I'm going to like purge this thing one more time before I actually probably flush it out with water. Kind of a hefty radiator, if I'm being honest. Yeah, overall, definitely getting some sludge out of there. Does not look oily, just corroded, maybe a little bit of rust from somewhere. Another good note, no oil in the intercooler. So, turbo should be good. Oh yeah, getting some good stuff out of there. Running a lot cleaner out of there, but look at all this. This is tiring. Whew. There you go, running pretty clean. A little bit of corrosion at best. Now I can just kind of free flush it since all the antifreeze is out. It's running really clear now, so I'm pretty happy. Now my dad's recommendation was always to paint the very bottom section of a radiator black, and this had nothing to do with cooling like the Mighty Car Mods test. It's about corrosion protection, because what happens is right here is where all the dirt and grime collects, and even though aluminum doesn't rust, it does corrode, and the more stuff that's gathered up there, the faster it's going to corrode, and that's when you get a leak, especially in these bottom corners. These pipes will corrode where they connect to the tank, and then you'll end up with a radiator that needs to be replaced, or at least have the leak fixed. So to prevent that, if you paint that all pretty well, it stops the corrosion. So after I let this dry out and clean it a bit, that's probably what I'll do. I'm not sure what more I have in me today. My back is pretty tired for sure. It's best if I get up early instead of late. But let me show you why I'm doing this in the first place. You can see the radiator supports themselves. Bit crusty. They're double layered. Seems like they're still fairly strong. This one's kind of degraded there. You know, oof, see that? So, you know, it's okay if some of the metal is missing, but I don't want it to be full of holes. So I'll probably try to pull this wiring harness out, which looks like it's going to be easy because here, let me show you. Everything's going to be rust that it's held in by. See, these little tabs are supposed to go in holes, and they're just pulling out rusty metal instead. So no point in me trying to save what's already gone. So yeah, this is pretty bad, you know. But as long as there's enough metal there for me to treat it all and save it, that's fine. This doesn't have to be like made of solid steel. I mean, you know, it has to be made of solid steel, but you get what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be like, it's not like it's a frame rail. Does obviously add some rigidity to the front end of the car. Up in here feels good, so it's mostly this lower section that's bad, and I just have to grind it back, get rid of all the rust, find out anywhere that needs to be patched, and patch it and paint it so that it doesn't rust more. And see, that's where the wiring harness is supposed to be holding, I think. So here's a hole, you know, there's a hole. But, yeah, so like I said, the good thing is there's two layers. This bar in general is still solid. It just is not beautiful. Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about right here. So this is the kind of thing that I want to just re-support, the radiator support. And the other thing is, right here, these two holes is where the front subframe bolts in. And actually, those threads look good. This is not as bad as I thought. It's really not. So I'm glad I finally got around to doing it, because I had this sense of dread that this thing was going to be so far gone that it would be, you know, stupid to not find a donor. But it's not. It's definitely salvageable. So that's what I need to do. I can tie up this wiring harness in front, paint all this. For now, everything's just going to get black, you know. Probably the stop rust black. But that'll be after it gets the rust converter treatment. I don't even know what these little screws used to be for, but I don't need them. So yeah, this, you know, everything's gonna get treated. Not too worried about a beauty contest right now, just functionality. I'll patch these little holes. I don't know how bad this thing is. It just looks pretty good. So yeah, so overall not bad. That's still the worst part of the car. Makes me happy. That doesn't, but that's the worst part. So yeah, on another note, like I'll try to make that all black in a way that it's consistent. This top part, don't really care about for right now. Someday, probably not this summer, honestly, given my time constraints. After I get all the rust patched and everything, I will be getting color matched paint, and I'll paint up as much of the engine bay as I can properly so it's all red again. But that's a ways down the road. Again, I'm way more worried about functionality with this car first, even though I do, of course, stop and take some time on aesthetics when I can, because some of them you can only address when you can. I cannot afford the paint right now to actually paint this stuff the right color. Like, just genuinely, I can't afford it. But when I can, it'll all get painted better. All right, I think that's going to be it for today. I'm going to throw these few little bolts back in there and put everything away. And I'll hopefully get right back on this tomorrow and probably mess around with the Cadillac a little bit more. It is going to take me a little while to edit this, but I know y'all love seeing the Eclipse, so here's some more Eclipse. I appreciate you all watching, as always. I'm like almost to 800 subscribers. The channel's growing a lot faster than I expected. I'm super psyched. Definitely on track for 1,000 by when I wanted to get it, mid-August, maybe even sooner. I'm still hoping to do all-wheel drive burnout for 1,000, all-wheel drive burnout on dirt. I'm not going to bust axles on pavement trying to make this thing burn out. But that's still fun. Rally car. Booyah. Oh, and one more thing. I am going to be on Long Island from Thursday through Monday. So I'm going to try to do some edits and schedule them to upload so that you'll still get daily uploads. If by chance I miss one, you know, I know you guys won't crucify me. I'm late all the time. But yeah, I'm going for a wedding with my girlfriend. It's her sister who's getting married, and her other sister just graduated from high school. So going to do all that stuff. Hopefully that'll be fun. See the ocean. But it does mean, of course, that I won't be working on the cars. After that, I'm pretty much free for the rest of the summer, unless I decide to take a trip down to North Carolina or whatever, stop in DC and see JR Garage and drive one of his cars like he told me I could. That's right, JR Garage. I'm not going to forget that. That'll put things on hold a little bit. I'm feeling pretty stressed because I know I don't have enough time to do all the things that I wanted to do, but I'm going to do as much as I can and show it all to you folks. Oh yeah, one quick thing. I don't think I ever showed you guys the transmission and transfer case cleaning, but that was a thing. So you'll probably see that later. I still need to paint a bunch of the parts that are going to go back into the car. With all the work that I have to do, unfortunately, don't expect the car to run until after I'm back from Long Island next Tuesday. Again, I should never give myself deadlines because I'm terrible with them, but believe me guys, I'm working on it and I want it to be ready as much as you. If I can get it far enough, it may even end up being my daily driver for a while. Got to figure out how much insurance would cost though, so yeah, I just wanted to let you know. I appreciate you all watching so much. Thank you, and I will see you soon on 802 Garage. Later.